Alright, what's happening? I am back again to get one more of these videos out for you fucking dorks this year. This year has definitely been slower than previous years for video making, and, you know, I apologize for that. And in just a few days, we are leaving. We're gonna go spend the days around Christmas in New York. And then we're going and staying in Delaware for a couple of days, because Delaware is one of the very few states that I still haven't been to, and I'm still on a mission to hit all 50. So Delaware will be number 47. Yeah, I don't know. But we're doing that in a few days, and we're going to be gone for a couple of weeks, so it might be a little bit of a longer gap than normal. Again, but you guys are probably used to that by now, right? So I tried to film this fucking video the other day, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I kind of filmed with the camera a little bit further back in that direction, and the light outside was super harsh. So the camera kept switching it like to expose for the super bright, and then it would expose for the super dark and blow everything out. It was super annoying. I don't know why the fuck I wasn't thinking about it, because I can watch myself here. I can see that happening. And I just thought I could correct for it in post, and there's just no way to do that. So here we are again. Take two. Let's just get into it. This is what we're listening to. This is the new Jamak album from this year. That might not be how you say the name of this band, but that's how I've always said it. This is fucking great, man. I'm going to put a link down in the description for you guys to go and listen to this on Bandcamp. I really love this project. This and the first EP that this band did are both wonderful. And you'd be doing yourself a favor to just go and listen to this. Great shit. Alright, so let's get into it. This video is going to be like usual. I'm going to show some first press stuff. I'm going to show some new stuff. All over the place. So the first thing that I'm going to show here, I'm absolutely thrilled with. This is Spider God with the Killing Room. This is super cool. I got a message from the guy behind Spider God a little over a month ago, maybe around a month and a half ago, something like that. And he told me they're basically doing like a secret early release for people who have been I guess longtime supporters of Spider God. So I grabbed this from him, and he told me to keep it on the DL, but last week or so I got a message, and he basically asked if I was going to make one of these videos, if I would just show it in the video. So this officially comes out December 25th, which is probably the day that I'm going to post this video. So as of the time that you're seeing this, this should be up. So any like relevant links that I find I will throw into the description of this video. You should absolutely go listen to this because it is fucking fantastic. I love this project. Something about like super hyper melodic black metal just really speaks to me. It's a one-way ticket to my heart, really. This thing is chock full of like super memorable moments front to back. And one of the things that I love about Spider God is that it has a very accessible sound, and I mean that in the best way. I guess basically what I mean is that this is just hard not to love, and I think that Spider God is very much in like a league of its own. There's not a lot of stuff that sounds quite like this. And obviously that's super appreciated. Spider God has always dealt a little bit more in like splits and EPs and stuff like that, but the full-length material has been nothing short of incredible so far. This one and Fly in the Trap from last year, which I raved about, and I don't know that I don't remember if I did a Best of 2022 video. I don't think that I did, but that, rest assured, that album would have absolutely been on that list, and this would absolutely be on a Best of 2023 list, and if I happen to make one of those, I'm sure that list will reflect that. I don't know, it's just great. Each individual element on here is great. The occasional synth work is great. I love the vocal delivery. A lot of the vocal patterns are very cool as well. It's just great. Overall, it's just fucking great. I'll show you what this looks like. This is signed by the guy behind Spider God. And he does just sign it, Spider God. And by the way, I fucking love this style of art. Very cool. Here's the back cover here. I like the fucking broken mirror with the clouds. all the track listing there. This does include an OB strip, limited to 60 copies. The invite-only release is limited to 60 copies. I have number 6, and there's this on the other side. This also includes a lyric booklet, which is cool. Obviously, it includes all the lyrics for all of the tracks, track listing and stuff at the front, but I like this right in the middle. Possess the devil and make him worse. When I looked that up, or actually on Instagram, Spider God's Instagram, he's doing like an advent calendar type thing leading up to the release of this album, and one of them had like a longer quote that included basically this here. And I looked it up, and apparently it's from a play or something. So this is a concept album. Well, I think it's a concept album. I don't actually know. The last full-length album, the concept was made pretty clear with like the release of the first track. This is, I'm gonna guess that this is a concept album, but just reading through all the lyrics and stuff like that, I can't really make out what the concept is. So that may be something that we'll get when we get like the Bandcamp link. Maybe it'll have like a description of the concept or something there. Anyway, the last part of this is the vinyl itself, which is actually lathe cut, not pressed vinyl. And it is like crystal clear, very, very nice. So huge thanks to Spider God for keeping me in mind for this one. And I really, really encourage everybody to go listen to this. Like I said, all the links will be in the description. This album is fantastic. Seriously, if you've ever liked melodic black metal, there's no chance you're not going to love this. So give it a shot. Absolutely incredible. Spider God, The Killing Room. Moving on, this is a first press of an old death metal EP, and this band, when I started grabbing first presses, this band was the first one that I knew I kind of wanted to grab all of like the first few albums from, and I did, and I've shown 3 of them so far, but I still wanted to show this, and then I'll have one more after this that I'll show in a future video. This is Cannibal Corpse with Hammer Smashed Face. This was released in 1993, the year after Tomb of the Mutilated came out. And this was released on this 12-inch vinyl here, and there was also a 7-inch vinyl version. It had a different cover. And the 7-inch vinyl version only included Hammer Smashed Face, the track, and then the 2 covers that are on here. And this, as far as I can tell, is the earliest sign that we have of Chris Barnes really, really liking to cover other people's songs. Because there is 2 covers on here, The Exorcist, which is a Possessed song, and then Zero the Hero from Black Sabbath. And Chris Barnes' credit, like, you know, this is a lot better than the songs that he would be like guilty of perpetrating covers for later on with like 6 Feet Under. And I know I'm probably talking to like 2 people right now. If you've never heard like Chris Barnes covering like You Shook Me All Night Long, which I guess 6 Feet Under covering You Shook Me All Night Long, please don't. Please don't go look it up. It is among the worst things you'll ever hear. It's fucking hilarious, but only for a minute. Anyway, the covers on here are actually quite good, especially Zero the Hero. Very groovy, slower track, really, really good. And obviously Chris Barnes' vocals still sounded pretty good back in 1993. So the only difference between the 7-inch and the 12-inch version here is this includes 2 other Cannibal Corpse tracks. Basically, it's the opening track from all 3 of the first albums. All of the first 3 albums. What? So you got Hammer Smashed Face, obviously the opening track from Tomb of the Mutilated, Meat Hook Sodomy from Butchered at Birth, and Shredded Humans from Eaten Back to Life. Yeah, I didn't really need the extra tracks or anything like that, but I much prefer having 12-inch vinyl over like 7 inches. This is like the only EP in Cannibal Corpse's discography outside of Worm Infested. Cannibal Corpse is very much a like full-length only band. Besides that, you guys really, you know what Cannibal Corpse sounds like. I would recommend going to listen to the cover tracks that are on here though, because like I said, they are quite good. And I love the album cover. Very, very cool. Again, not really sure who this parental advisory label here is for. I mean, I don't know who would be looking at this and purchasing it for their young child. I guess apart from me, of course. There's the back cover. It's just a zoomed in image of what's on the front, put out through Metal Blade Records. You have all the track listing up here, and then a few credits and everything on the other side. This is just black vinyl, but if you're curious about what the labels look like, there you go. So really not much to say about this one. I just kind of wanted to show it because I think it's fucking cool. So yeah, give it a shot, man. If you haven't heard it for some reason. That's Cannibal Corpse, Hammer Smashed Face. Moving on, this is a brand new record, 2023. I think it came out in like July. But this is a project that I had never heard before this full-length album. And I absolutely adore this. This is Varan with L'Esprit et la Béton. Google Translate says that translates to like the spirit and the concrete, I think it was. If you haven't heard of Varan before, which I wouldn't blame you, like I said, like it was brand new to me when I heard it a few months ago. This is a one-man project from Paris, France, and there was like a demo and an EP that came out before this, and I think those date back to like 2018 or something, so you know, it's not a brand new project, it was just new to me. But this shit is absolutely fantastic. The intro is super ominous and foreboding that leads directly into the first track on this album, Necro Night, which is probably the fastest track on this record. So what I love about this is, honestly, I kind of mentioned it a few minutes ago with Spider God. I love black metal with lots of melody, and this absolutely has lots of melody. And there's a lot of diversity here from track to track. There's kind of like clean vocals. The harsh vocals are super cool. There's the production here is very, very rough, like lo-fi, but something about lots of melody and super lo-fi black metal, just, I fucking adore it. But like I said, there's diversity here. There's clean vocals from time to time. Some tracks have a kind of punky attitude. There's like techno-y influences on the penultimate track on this album, which is awesome. The last two tracks on this album are like instrumentals. The song right before the first of those two instrumentals is called Crevards, and that's probably one of my favorite songs on the album. There's a part of that track where it's like the clean vocals are layered with the harsh vocals, and it gives that moment in that track such a frenetic, like chaotic feeling, even though like the accompanying music is actually quite slow. It's a really weird contrast, but it works perfectly. This is another one that I'm just going to urge you to go listen to the whole thing because it's wonderful. There's the front cover. It appears to be like a brazen bull on the cover, and this band's absolutely insane logo. There's the back cover there. You have all the track listing, Varan, and the one guy behind this project there. There is the record label. I don't know how to say it. It's C-R-O-U-X, maybe Crow. I don't know. But it is a French record label, and a cursory look kind of made it seem like the label pretty much exclusively puts out like French bands. I might be wrong about that though. No insert or anything, but the labels are cool. There's side B there. And side A, just black vinyl. Go listen to this. This shit's fucking awesome. One of my probably top 5 for me for 2023. I adore it. Really, really great shit. That is Varan with L'Esprit et la Béton. We're going to talk about another first press of an old death metal album. But this album would probably be on like the Mount Rushmore of like early death metal albums. This is Morbid Angel with Altars of Madness. So this is the official debut album from Morbid Angel. And again, I might only be talking to 2 or 3 people, but this is not the first full-length album that Morbid Angel ever recorded. Because in 1986, Morbid Angel recorded an album called Abominations of Desolation. And for... I can't exactly remember why that album was never released. You'd have to Metal Archives it, I don't remember. So because of that, this is the first official full-length album. And, I mean, there's nothing I can say about this that hasn't been said a million times way better. I'm basically just showing it because I listened to it recently and it's fucking great. This thing is absolutely just up to the gills in great riffs, lots of gnarly solos, super dynamic drum performance on this thing too by Pete Sandoval. This is his first outing with Morbid Angel. This one's got like occasional groovy moments. I love the sort of like mid-growl vocals that are pretty much all the way through this thing. The audible bass is an appreciated element as well. There's really not a downside to Altars of Madness. There's a reason that this is such a sort of esteemed classic death metal album. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. I really don't have to. The album cover is classic as well, but probably just because it's associated with this album. I mean, like, this album cover in general, I don't think I like it, but it's just so... classic, I guess. I don't know. And I did go out of my way to grab a first press that still had the hype sticker on it. Not like that was difficult. It seems like maybe half of the first press copies still do have that hype sticker. Because I imagine a lot of people didn't want to risk peeling it off and fucking their cover up. And like, obviously now in 2023, like, fuck you if you're putting hype stickers on the cover. But, you know, this is over 30 years old, so it's kind of cool now. The back cover has a shot of all 4 of the band members there. Like I mentioned, Pete Sandoval from Terrorizer a little bit ago. All the track listing and shit. I would say if I had to pick a favorite track on this one, I'd probably go with the crowd favorite, honestly, which is Maze of Torment. But Chapel of Ghouls, Immortal Rites... I mean, I don't know. It doesn't even matter. This whole album is fucking great. This also includes the original inner sleeve with all of the lyrics. And then you have your thanks list and some credits and stuff on the other side. This is just black vinyl, but if you're curious about the labels, just a old classic earache labels. They pretty much all look the same. I don't know what else to say about this. I really don't think that I have to talk about Altars of Madness. I mean, every one of you have heard this album. Absolute fucking banger, front to back, no complaints. If you haven't heard this, I don't even want you to finish this video. You need to hear this album. Fantastic. Morbid Angel, Altars of Madness.
Too late to save you now. Visions of suffering stand from the inside. New prison for death. Morning doesn't good as you can only die once. Souls are being raped by the maze. Lost and dissolved.
We've got 3 more, and I'd like to get through them relatively quickly, because I've got other stuff I want to do today. So, next up, we have a brand new 2023 full-length album from a band I have been gushing over since before I ever started this YouTube channel, almost a decade ago. This is Panopticon with the Rime of Memory. This is the 10th full-length album from Panopticon, and my expectations with Panopticon are I always keep it relatively, like, neutral. Because this project has made some albums that I regard as some of my favorite albums. Like Roads to the North, Autumn Eternal, Kentucky. I adore those albums. And at this point, they're very nostalgic for me as well. And there's been a couple of albums since those 3 that, you know, I either am sort of neutral on or really, really love. And I would say, like, since Autumn Eternal, this is probably my favorite full-length album since Autumn Eternal back in 2015. It kind of seems like this album took a more melancholic approach, which I'm always a fan of, obviously. Some really long tracks on here. I think there's only 5 tracks total. Six tracks total. The second track on this one is called Winter's Ghost. It's separated into 2 parts, and that song is a few seconds short of 20 minutes long. However, the first half of that track is like an instrumental. But even the long tracks on here, they are varied enough that none of them really feel like they overstay their welcome. It kind of feels like you could just separate that into a few different tracks and it would still make sense. But for whatever reason, the long track format works regardless. My favorite track on here might be Cedar Skeletons. That track has a really gnarly guitar solo in it that I just love. But also the Blue Against the White. There's a part in that track, that's the very final track on the album. There's a part of that track where there's like this female crooning with like Austin's like harsh vocals on top of it, and it's super fucking cool. And Panopticon always finds a way to maintain a perfect balance between like aggression and melancholy in this case. And I would say that this is a very grandiose feeling record, even by Panopticon standards. I love that this thing is balanced with kind of like these melancholic melodies and triumphant melodies that sort of just give everything contrast. I don't know, man. I really love this record. The vocals are the kind of par for the course, like mid-growly, kind of distant sounding vocals. Austin's expertise as a drummer always shines brightly on Panopticon albums, and this is no exception. And the packaging is really nice as well. I'll show you what this looks like. I like the spot gloss over the birds. The band logo is right there. There's the back cover there. Put out their bind rune. You have more spot gloss on the top there and all the track listing. This is a gatefold, and of course, more spot gloss. Very, very nice. This is a double LP, though I have one of the records on the turntable right now. But I'll show you the booklet first. Those include a booklet which has all of the lyrics and everything. And much like a lot of the Panopticon stuff, maybe even every Panopticon album, there's always like a write-up that has like a kind of explanation about like what inspired this album. And I love that. I think that's really cool. The vinyl itself is also really nice. Like I said, I have one of them on the turntable now. But I think they described this as like milky clear with opaque white butterfly wings with black splatter or something. I don't know. You get it. Kind of has the butterfly wing effect, I guess. And the labels are really nice as well. So yeah, to cap this off, this would probably be another one of my favorite albums of 2023. I love it. I love Panopticon. I love this record. And at this point, I don't think anybody that's watching this has just never heard of Panopticon. I think if you haven't heard it at this point, you probably just know that like folky, atmospheric black metal might just not be your thing. And that's fine, but it absolutely is my thing. And if it sounds like something that might pique your interest as well, then you can't go wrong with this album. Absolutely fantastic. Panopticon, The Rime of Memory. Second to last, as we've been bouncing back and forth between like new and old releases, figured we'd keep the format. This is probably one of the oldest metal records in my entire collection. This is Nasty Savage with the very first self-titled album, Nasty Savage. Came out in 1985. This band has been around since 1983. They formed in Florida. And Metal Archive still says that this band is active, despite not having released any new material in almost 20 years. So, like I said, this is the debut, 1985. There was 2 demos that came out the year before this. And this is not the only Nasty Savage that I like. I like a couple of the albums that came after this as well, and I'll probably wind up with them at some point. This record is super fun, very energetic. I like the vocals on this are very like almost normal singing that kind of have like a thrashy affectation to them. But I like when the vocalist kind of goes into like these wails, and the vocals aren't afraid to like break into like shrieking and stuff. And I think it's really cool. There are lots of like really simple but good riffs on here. Lots of cool guitar solos. It's just a fun album. I gotta be in the mood for this kind of thing, but when I am, it really scratches an itch. And, you know, I don't really think that this is gonna go changing any minds of people who don't like thrash or heavy metal or anything like that, but if you do and you've never heard it, it's definitely worth a shot. The album cover is cool. It's just the band logo. The back cover is kind of typical for like early metal records, just shots of the bands in their own individual little squares. You got all the track listing and some extra thanks and stuff on the back. It does include the original inner, which has a collage on one side and then all of the lyrics on the other. And again, it's just black vinyl, so I'm not going to pull it out. But Metal Blade Records, classic Metal Blade labels. There you go. So yeah, not much I need to say. Lots of you probably already know Nasty Savage and love it or hate it. And I imagine if you don't really like thrash or heavy metal anyway, then maybe you don't care, but I like it, and I had this for more than a year at this point, and well, about a year at this point, and still haven't shown it, so I figured it was worth pulling it out. Really cool stuff. Nasty Savage. Alright, let's finish this shit off. The last thing that we're going to talk about is an album that came out last year in 2022. And this band is one that has never done wrong, by my estimation at least. This is Vampiric Blood with Nosferatu Darkness, The Loveless Nights in Tavastia. And maybe that's not how you say that, but that's how it's spelled, Tavastia. This is the third full-length album from Vampiric Blood, following Howling in Candlelight, and the debut album was called Ordo Dracul. And I would say that this isn't as good as Howling in Candlelight. That's my favorite of the Vampiric Blood stuff for sure. There are just a couple tracks on that one that really elevated above the other two for me. But, I mean, this is a fucking banger regardless. The intro of this album is very cool. It's kind of just a synth intro, but it's got the layered, like, clean and harsh vocals on top of it. It feels very, like, insidious and just kind of evil. I like it. But, again, black metal with lots of good melody. And for me, there's no shame in saying that I love this kind of thing. And it's just a lot easier for me to really latch on to it. This shit is really, really good. The vocals on this thing are like super high wretches. If you like the vocals of like Satanic War Master or White Death, then, you know, you'll like this. What's weird about this is that I noticed that all of the aggression on this album comes pretty much exclusively from the drum performance. Like, if you remove the drums, it loses all of that. So the drums, I think, are a very important component to this album. Not like drums aren't kind of always an important element or anything like that. I just think they play a pretty big role in the sound that this record is going for. Yeah, there's a couple of interludes on this thing that are really good as well. I don't know. It's just a fucking good record from front to back. There's the album cover there. I like the Vampiric Blood logo a lot, but you look like you got Count Orlok on the front, which is cool. There's the back cover, just a nice shot of a lake at like Blue Hour or whatever. Put out through Iron Bonehead. This also includes an inner sleeve. There's one side, cool shot of the guy, some credits and stuff like that. And the other side you have all of the lyrics, which is cool. This was pressed on black vinyl as well as this really nice blue vinyl. which is limited to 100 copies. I got this directly through Iron Bonehead, along with the EP that came right before this, that I'm sure I'll probably show in a future video. But, I mean, again, I'm sure that everybody's heard Vampiric Blood. I really love this project, and I'm always excited to see what happens next, because it's maintaining a really high standard of quality, and this album is no exception to that. Really, really good shit. Definitely check it out. Vampiric Blood, Nosferatu Darkness, The Loveless Nights in Tavastia. And that's it. That's 7 more records. I'm happy to have gotten this done for a second time. I've been keeping a closer eye on my little screen here, and I can tell that this definitely went better than the last one. Thank you so much for sticking around. Make sure that you check out everything that I leave links for in the description, as well as everything else that I've talked about, because I only sling bangers around here, and you guys know that. So, thanks so much for sticking around, and we will be back soon, hopefully. Later.